And that brings us to our discussion agenda, which is item number 17, proposed revisions to board policy KBB, parents' rights and responsibilities shown in Exhibit F.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Gant, you have before you policy KBB, and what you have are two items in Exhibit F. One is the current existing policy, which is in black and white print, and you also have the recommended policy, which is highlighted in all blue. There are essentially two items that make for a difference or change, if you will, regarding this particular policy. And the first begins with its name. The current policy is referred to as KBB, Parent Involvement in Education. We're recommending that we move forward with naming the policy KBB, Parent Rights and Responsibilities. Essentially what you'll find throughout that particular document are an attempt to outline what the rights and responsibilities of parents are here in School District 5. So the first correction or revision would be the name itself. And the second and final revision to that is in reference to about midway the page, there is a section in the current policy that speaks of special education. And the new policy omits that terminology. Want to make certain that we do not single out or in reference to categorizing in any way any student or any family due to any special needs concerns that they may have, whether they're in special needs class, college prep, advanced placement, gifted and talented, whatever the case, they will all be afforded the same rights and responsibilities to be duly notified, informed, as well as the responsibilities that appertain to this particular policy. Those are the two changes that we bring before you in terms of revisions to policy KBB.
Okay. Any discussion or questions? Ms. Hammond.
I guess when you read it, parents' rights and responsibilities, I think it's good to read them on here, and I think you put them well on here. I guess I feel discouraged sometimes that some of the responsibilities we want to see from a parent, we have no way to enforce that. So I guess this is just for a few. I know we have more good parents than not, but for a few that don't take on some of these responsibilities, I guess that's where we are glad we have a social worker or we have other systems in place to try and help a child whose parents say, you know, there was the one I thought about, to make reasonable efforts to provide for the physical needs of the child. You know, some parents don't. And I just, reading this, it made me think we really don't have any way other than being able to report to DHEC or, you know, I know that there's certain places for that, but I didn't realize we had a policy that actually put ABC down what parents should do. I knew we did what we need to do because we can control that. But I was just going to ask you if there's any kind of way that we communicate these to parents just to reinforce in hopes that everybody would adhere to them.
Right. A couple of things I'll say to that, Ms. Hammond. This policy suggests that there are expectations regarding rights and responsibilities of the parents. We want to make certain that parents understand that they do, in fact, have rights and responsibilities. Our policy is a way to communicate that, and we certainly look forward to our schools, our administrative staff, to communicate that as well in terms of discussing what processes and procedures are so that they might have clarity as needed. While every parent does not parent similarly, and there are differences in parenting skills and styles, yes, there are times when our school staff, social workers, others will have to kind of assist in providing parenting skills, providing whatever it is that will assist parents in making certain that they are providing the best and that they are doing their part to help us to nurture and to raise and to provide for the students while we have them for the 7.5 hours per day. So it's communicated. We try to make certain that it is communicated as often as we possibly can. We try to make certain that there are opportunities, workshops, discussion groups where parents can learn should that be the need, where and when possible, to make certain that all of us are on the same page, and that at the end of the day, it's really about us pulling together as a team or a collective team in making certain that students are getting the very best education that they can while they're here in District 5.
And I had one other one, and I think I understand why this is in there, where it's our responsibilities. We've got to receive that the child would receive reasonable protection for his or her, or the parent would get protection for his or her child from physical harm while under school authority. I guess we put that word in there, reasonable, because I first of all just kind of thought we'd promise protection, but I know there's always accidents that we can be right there. I know that, and it still happens. So reasonable just kind of protects.
That does give us some coverage,
Yes.
if you will, absolutely, and we certainly have all the safeguards that we possibly can to ensure that protections are afforded to all of the students and parents while they're on our campuses as well. So again, I think another plug for the work of our safety teams of making certain that not only students are in safe environments, but anyone who's on any of our campuses are also provided those same protections.
Ms. Baumgartner.
Mr. Harris, in reviewing the policies, I noticed there were 2 bullet points that were left out from the old, and I actually thought both of them were good. The first one said to expect that school personnel will make reasonable attempts to ensure that parents and guardians receive important school news and messages. And, you know, we even have the phone tree system so that we can relay messages and things like that. I mean, I kind of think that's, even though, and the other one is to report inappropriate behavior of a student or teacher or any district employee. Again, I think that is one that shouldn't have been left out, as the parent's right to be able to feel like they can report misbehavior.
The first item that you may reference, if you look in the blue section, you'll find that under receiving information, and it is the 4th bullet.
Okay.
That is there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the second item, and I need to make sure I know where you reference that now.
Okay, it is a let. Okay.
That may have been, oh, I see it, okay. I see it in the old policy to report inappropriate behavior. That is, omitted. You're absolutely right. That is omitted, that particular bullet.
Okay. Can we leave, can
We
we
can
put it
certainly
back
make sure that
in?
that's reinserted, and I'm not sure how I did that, but I'll make sure that that's reinserted in there.
Okay,
That is
thank
in there.
you.
Absolutely.
Dr. Harris, on the second blue page, bullet point 4, or the 4th one down, says to attend parent-teacher conferences. Having been involved in a lot of those, sometimes informally, so that when there's the official announced parent-teacher conference, we've already taken care of that, and so we may not attend those. Can we add there to attend parent-teacher conferences when requested, or similar to further down where it says to attend when possible school events, just to clarify that statement?
Absolutely, I
That
get
that conferencing happens sometimes very formally, but sometimes informally. And
Absolutely, we can insert that language.
Thank you, Mr. Cates. Any other questions or suggestions? And I'll remind you, this is our discussion, so it'll be back before us for reading. So, Dr. Harris, thank you for bringing this to us.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. That concludes our action and discussion agenda and brings us to our item 18, which is our adjournment. So, Ms. Baumgartner, I'd entertain a motion.
I move that we adjourn.
Okay, we have a second. Ms. Hutchison seconds. I'll remind everyone that our next board meeting will be September the 10th at Dutch Fork High School. So all those in favor of adjourning, please raise your hand and ask unanimous. And thank you all for being here.